Michael B. Jordan said in a quote, "There are artistic choices that were influenced by my passion for anime that we brought into boxing and training sequences." Jordan said, "With boxing like Hajime no Ippo, I really love the inner dialogue of what's going on and happening in the ring from the characters." So he's talking about specifically like in boxing anime, like in Hajime no Ippo, or like he mentions later in My Hero Academia, a show that wasn't all that great but had really great fight sequences, The God of High School, where they'll like in the middle of a punch, they'll either stop or it'll go in really slow motion, and then the character will have this whole monologue breaking down like what the character's doing with their swing, what's going on with all the muscles. Oh my gosh, she like bruised me, this is gonna cause, all this over the top anime fighting internal monologue stuff that he really liked and really gave him this passion to do and to influence into some of his work. And then in another quote from Michael B. Jordan, he said, "Without nerding out too much, you've seen so many fights throughout the Rocky and Creed franchise, and I really wanted to put my spin on it, Jordan said, "All of those different anime that I watched growing up, there's an inherent spirit to them and how they fight and their bonds and relationships and all that good stuff. But it's very similar to the brotherhood and bond that we, Adonis Creed and Damian Anderson, have in his Adonis Creed relationship to his family as well. So I tried to key in on some of those moments." And so he's basically doing what anime fans love so much about anime, in the sense that at times it can be so over the top, but it's all in pursuit of the emotion. And it seems like that's what he's taken away, is he's doing this to enhance the emotional core of the stories. And to me, this is what I want. On top of that, Michael B. Jordan also gave his quote-unquote beginner anime recommendations that he would recommend to people who want to get into anime, starting with One Piece, Dragon Ball, Naruto, Bleach, and Hunter x Hunter. Now, people have been ripping Michael B. Jordan up for this. Like, everybody applauded him for everything he said about, anime influence and things like that into the Creed universe and making an anime adaptation, whatever. When it came to this, everybody turned on him so fast. If you're subscribed to Joey Bazinger, otherwise known as the Anime Man, he talked about this. And the biggest criticism, which I tend to agree with, is that this is not a great list to, I think, and I don't blame Michael B. Jordan at all, but I think that in the heat of the moment, when he's in an interview and he's talking about some of his anime that he got into, and he's recommending anime, some of the best he's seen, what he ended up accidentally doing is recommending that people watch over 2,000 episodes of anime in order to get into anime. You can see how that might be a daunting experience, and how that might be pushing away people from getting into the anime fold, unless you're a super diehard person who really wants to get into it. Personally, I would just pick one of these shows. I personally would not pick One Piece as your first show, simply because it is so long. Most people will usually start with just one show, they'll watch and finish it, then they'll go to another show, they'll watch and finish it, then maybe they'll watch, a couple shows, then they'll build up to more shows, and then, after a certain point, they're watching seasonally, where they're watching so many anime in one season. That's kind of how it happened with me. But with this, if you do this, and you're not in the position where you're binging or you're skipping filler episodes or anything like that, if you're just watching every episode there is, you're going to be watching anime for a very long time. If you're, like, say, not a high school guy or a high school student or whatever, and you have a job and school and a family, whatever, like a lot of us do, that is a lot of time that you are taking away that could be spent on other things that are very important to you. Now, that's not me saying, hey, just don't watch anime, because obviously I watch a lot of anime, but I cover anime, and I think that there's a difference between watching maybe, 2 to 3 to 4 20-minute episodes a day when you're just watching them seasonally, because if they're 20 minutes, that adds up to, maybe if you're watching 3 episodes an hour, if you're watching more, it's like an hour, 20 minutes, usually the amount of time people, or less than the amount of time people will spend on Netflix a day. That's usually how I end up doing things. But when you're watching so many episodes and it's like, man, I'm just getting into it. Like, is every anime like this? No, every anime is not like this. These are the rare cases that these big shonens are very, very long and have multiple franchises. Like Naruto has 2 shows. Dragon Ball has Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. And I want to say there's another one. I could be wrong. I haven't seen Dragon Ball, like I said before. But, and Hunter x Hunter isn't over. That's still going. One Piece is well into the thousands. That's not over yet. And if you're counting Boruto, that's another almost 300 episodes you're adding on top of Naruto as well. That is a lot to cover. Now, As someone who has only seen one of these shows, but who knows a bit about the other shows and who has read a little bit of One Piece, who has seen some of the fights from Naruto, who has heard recommendations of Hunter x Hunter, and who has seen not a few in the sense that I've seen like a good amount of episodes, but a few as in like I've seen like probably 3 or 4 episodes of Dragon Ball. I think that these are all, if you're going to pick one, I think that these are all decent anime to start off with. I think if you're going to start with Bleach, that's great. Use a filter list and cut through all the filler. Do the same thing with Naruto if you're going to do that. Do the same thing with Dragon Ball. Do the same thing with Hunter x Hunter, but pick one. And then I would say try a different style of show. Because the thing about all these are all the biggest shonen you can possibly shonen. While that can be great, it's 2,000 episodes of the exact same genre of things. I believe, look, people are talking about how the MCU is so long. This trounces over the MCU, bro. The MCU is like 2 hours, maybe 220 on average per movie. That is about 6 episodes of anime. And we're talking about 2,000. So we're doing 6 times 30 for the MCU, which is 180 hours. And then we're talking about 2,000 episodes of anime at 20 minutes. I'm not even going to attempt to try to do the mental math on that while I look it up. We'll chat about that. But listen, I don't want it to seem like I'm like dogging on Michael B. Jordan for this. Obviously, like I said before, it was a little disclaimer. It's 40,000 hours, by the way. Obviously, I don't want to, try to insult the guy or anything like that. He clearly, like I said before, was in the heat of the moment, just spitting off some anime that came to his thing and said, hey, these are the anime I got into anime with. These are the anime I think that people would like if they tried to get into anime. I don't think he's recommending all 5 of these shows, but we're just going into the semantics of if he did that and how this might deter people from going into the anime fold. If the goal is to say, hey, watch 2,000 episodes and then your foot's in the door. Like I think that's doing more harm than it is good. I understand what he's trying to say. Obviously, we're not going to put a bunch of heat on him like other people did, where they were like, Michael B. Jordan, yeah, how dare you, you idiot. Like, we're not going to do that here. But I just thought it was kind of funny how he's inadvertently recommended 2,000 episodes, 40,000 hours to get your foot in the door. I just think it's kind of funny.